Hey, I'm Russ from Pilates Guy, and I'm just going to take you through a 4 exercise sequence, which is a bit of an ab burner that I like to do. I normally put this one in with my gym routine. I wouldn't normally necessarily do these exercises back to back during a normal session because it's very focused on the core, but particularly the abdominals. So you're going to get working into those low abdominals right the way through the rectus abdominis. We're going to start off with a plank, working through the 100, the single leg, and then into the double leg stretch, and finishing on a scissors exercise to get really into the low abdominals. I'm going to take these all up to at least intermediate level, and at the end I will just mention a few alternatives you can do if you do struggle with any injuries or anything like that, and I will mention a few things that you can do during, but I'm going to keep the flow through the exercise going pretty well. So all in all, you can do this in about 10 minutes. Just remember to rest whenever you need to when you go through these. Like the plank, you might not want to hold it for the period that I hold it, you might want to hold it for longer, but if you do want to take a bit of a rest, then do. I'm also going to work through these with you, so I'm going to get out of breath. I'm using a microphone, so please forgive any heavy breathing whilst we're doing this. So we're going to start off with a plank. So we're going to set ourselves up on the mat. We want to bring those hands, palms down if we can, undoing some of this by bringing those hands flat down. We want to be strong through those elbows, which are directly under the shoulders, shoulders back and down towards those back pockets. We're going to tuck the toes under. We want those legs about hip distance apart. Now, really importantly, we're going to tuck our tailbone under here. We tuck the tailbone. You take a little bit of the curve out of that lower back. From here, we're going to pull the belly button in, lift the pelvic floor. We've got that TVA engagement. We feel the core working already. We're going to take in a nice deep breath, and we breathe out. We're going to peel the hips away, come into our level 1 plank. From here, we lift one knee, pushing the heel back. We lift the second knee, pushing the heel back, and we're in a full plank. So we want to keep those shoulders back and down, keep strong through the arms, keep tucking the chin, keep tucking the tailbone, keep squeezing that core, push the heels back a little. Now from here, just breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Deep breaths, lateral thoracic breathing, breathing into that rib cage, always putting the belly button in, lifting that pelvic floor. Now, if you do struggle with this, if you want to take the pressure off, but you don't want to fully rest, you can bring one knee down and the other knee down. Then you can bring one knee up and the other knee up. So that's a little progression from knees down plank to knees up plank, is little lift lowers. This really gets the core working, the abdominals working, whilst taking the pressure off your back. Okay, if you wanted to work a little harder from the full plank, you can rock forwards and back. You push forwards and back, forwards and push those heels back. Breathe in as you come forwards, breathe out as you push back. Remember, with the plank, we don't bums up in the air, we don't hips down on the floor. That just puts pressure on your lower back. And that nice line through the body, forwards and back. We'll just do another 10 seconds here, whichever level you've gone for. Just keep holding, keep that tailbone tucked, keep the belly button pulled in, keep breathing deeply. If you're not breathing, you're not doing the plank. 3, 2, and 1. The knees come down, hips come down, take the pressure off the arms. And that's round 1. We've got 2 more rounds. So we've got 2 more rounds to work through. We just take a brief breather, and then we're going to bring ourselves back. So we want those elbows under shoulders, hands flat down in line with the elbows if we can. Shoulders are back and down, the chin slightly tucked, the toes are tucked, hip distance apart. We tuck the tailbone, we pull in that belly button, engage that TVA, that wraparound muscle, lifting the pelvic floor. Nice deep breath in through the nose. We breathe out through the mouth, we pull those hips away into our level 1 plank. Then you can lift one knee, pushing the heel back, second knee, heel goes back, we're in our full plank. Keep breathing here. You can come forwards and back if you like. Just increasing that engagement in the core muscles. Keep that tailbone slightly tucked. Don't let this happen. Don't arch the back. Don't let the hips come down. Don't push your bums in the air. It's ineffective. Slide backwards and forwards. Nice straight line through the body. Keep it strong. Keep breathing. If you're not breathing, you're not planking. Keep going with that for me. We should have a bit of a shake going on here. That core should be working. Remember, you can take the knees down. You can lift those knees up one at a time. Knees come down, takes the pressure off the back, keeps the core working. Knees come up. You'll find those abdominals work harder. Last 10. Keep holding that. Keep breathing. Keep the core strong. Keep pulling that belly button up. Imagine there's a spike underneath that belly button. Pelvic floor lifted for 2 and 1. Knees come down, hips come down. Take the pressure off your arms. Just stretch out for a second. Nice little breather. Deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. We're coming into our last round of plank. So, elbows under those shoulders. I'll give you another option to make this one a little more difficult. In Pilates, we call it the leg pull prone. I will show you why. Palms flat down, we tuck the chin. Shoulders back and down, we tuck the toes. Hip distance apart. We tuck the tailbone. Pull your belly button in, lift that pelvic floor. So we've got our core engagement. Nice deep breath in. We breathe out and we take the hips up in line with the shoulders. We lift one knee, push the heel back, take the other one. Heel back, nice plank. Keep tucking the tailbone. Keep your core engaged. Keep the shoulders back and down and breathe. Chin slightly tucked, neck long. We can do our forwards back if you like. From here, if you do want to work a little harder, we can start to squeeze a glute, lengthen, lift a leg, and lower it back down. Squeeze the other glute, lengthen, lift the leg, and lower it back down. This is our leg pull prone. Make sure you squeeze the glute, keep the core strong. When you lift that leg, make sure you're not twisting around the pelvis. There's no dropping down, there's no movement there. It's just the leg. Moving, glute, creating that engagement. Last 5. Keep holding whichever level you're doing. 2 and 1. Knees come down, hips come down. Come off those arms. Just take the ear to the mat. And just relax. Other ear to the mat. Nice deep breath in. And then we'll push ourselves back. If you want to release, you can just go into a child's stretch. Pushing your bum back, reaching those arms forwards. And we're coming over onto our backs for the 100. Bringing yourself onto the mat, feet and knees hip distance apart. We want to be in our neutral spine here. That's where you've got that tiny bit of space under the lower back, not enough to get the hands all the way through to meet in the middle. If you do want to do some pelvic tilts to begin with and just settle that down bit by bit until you come to a natural stop, you'll find yourself in neutral. We're going to do the 100, the 10 breaths. When I curl my body up, the microphone's going to activate more and my voice might dip in and out. So sorry about that if that happens. So from here, we're in neutral. We're going to pull that belly button down to the spine, lift the pelvic floor, take leg number 1 into a tabletop position, vertical thigh, shin parallel to the floor. We want a hip rib connection here. Slide bottom ribs towards hips. Feel your back lengthen, still in neutral. We've got a strong core engagement. Leg number 2 into tabletop here, vertical thighs, shins parallel to the floor. So we take a nice deep breath in from here. We breathe out. Let's bring the upper body off the floor. We're looking at the gap between the knees towards the feet. You're not forcing your chin onto your chest. You're looking at that gap. Nice long neck, chin slightly tucked, arms alongside the hips, shoulders are back and down, shoulder blades are off the floor. We're going to start to beat those arms. Nice, strong beats coming from the shoulders. We're going to do 5 breaths in, 5 breaths out. That's 1. We're doing 10. Keep the core strong. Keep breathing. There's 3 breaths. If you want to make this harder, take those legs up to 45 degrees. Hold them there. Keep the shoulder blades off the floor. Keep pulling the belly button down to the spine. Keep the back under control. Keep breathing. Don't force that head forwards. Just keep those shoulder blades hovering. This will be 5. 5 more to go. If you struggle lengthening the legs, but you do want to work harder, lengthen them out and then bring them back to tabletop. Lengthen them out and then bring them back to tabletop. If you want to work really, really hard, lengthen the legs out, lower, and lift. And lower, and lift. Hard work this. Don't let the upper body change position. Shoulder blades stay high, core stay strong. We're beating those arms. Let's do 1 more breath. 5 in, 5 out. Once we've done those 10 breaths, legs come back to tabletop, upper body comes down, 1 leg down at a time, full body stretch out nice and long, hands overhead, feet go long, squeeze your glutes together, opening up those hips, let the back arch and just stretch nice and long, breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. We're going to bring ourselves back up to a very similar position now for the 1 leg stretch. So we'll start this off simple, feet flat on the floor, knees and feet hip distance apart, neutral spine. Engage the core, pull belly button down, lift pelvic floor, take 1 leg to tabletop. From here, hip rib connection, slide bottom ribs towards hips, feel that spine lengthen. The neck should also be long, so we can lift the head and pop it back down to make sure we've got a long neck to begin with. From here, with that core engagement, we can imprint if we're worried about our cores being weak or back pain. That's where we tuck the tailbone, flattening that lower back down. But ideally we work out of neutral. Second leg comes to tabletop. From here, we can start to lengthen the leg as we breathe out and lower it down towards the floor. Doesn't have to go all the way. And then bring it back in as you breathe in. As we lengthen, as we bring it back in. Lengthen that leg and then lower it under control. And then bring it back in. Your back doesn't change position. Nothing happening with that lower back. Nothing happening with the hips lifting or anything like that. It's all coming, that leg lengthens from the hip joint, lowers down. You feel the abdominals work to control that. You bring that back in. You lengthen the other leg, you lower. This is a single leg stretch without the upper body. Now let's bring the upper body into this. So we can bring the upper body up just like with the 100. We're looking at the gap between the knees towards the feet. Arms in line with the hips, shoulders are back and down. Chin is tucked, long in the neck. And we hold the upper body up, keeping that core strong. Breathe out as the leg lengthens. In as it comes back. Breathe out as the other one lengthens. In as it comes back. You probably want to do about 10 each leg, but we will be taking this up to the double leg stretch as a finisher. So if you want to up already, we can start the double leg stretch here. You want your fingertips either side of the knee. We're going to breathe out as both legs lengthen and the arms go overhead. And we're going to breathe in as we circle the arms back to the knee, hands back to knees. We breathe out as we lengthen. We breathe in as we circle those arms back. We breathe out as we lengthen. The shoulder blades aren't going back to the floor. Okay, those arms go back, but the shoulder blades stay off the floor. And we come back. We're going to do 4 more doubles. If you've stuck with single, do 2 more each side. And once we've finished, upper body comes down, 1 leg down at a time. Full body stretch out nice and long. Squeeze the glutes, move the feet, move the hands. Just release those abdominals before our final exercise, which is the scissors, starting with a nice simple toe tap. So we're not going to go to advanced, just an intermediate scissors exercise. So we're going to bring, so that last exercise, was the single leg stretch. You can bring the upper body up, continue with single leg, or progress to the double leg at any point you like. You want about 10 each side. 10 to 12 each side, get right into those low abdominals. And last, final exercise. Same position, starting in neutral. Neutral spine, core strong, hip rib connection, 1 leg to tabletop. Make sure we've got a nice strong hip rib connection. That core is belly buttons pulled down, pelvic floors lifted. We are strong around the center. That second leg comes to tabletop. From here, nice, strong around the core. We're going to tip from the hip. The leg comes down, touches the floor, bring that leg back up. The other leg comes down, toe taps, bring that back up. Always back to tabletop. The movement comes from the hip. What I see often is the bend at the knee, then that toe taps down. We don't want that. We want everything to come from the hip. Coming down, tapping very lightly, bring it back up. To make this more difficult, you can bring the arms up in front, and as that toe taps down, you just hold the arms out front. It's going to make it more difficult to control the back, which we need to control. That's the point of the exercise. Core staying strong. If you want to work harder, the arms go back as the toe taps down, and they come back up as the leg comes back up. Breathe out, and breathe in. Breathe out, and breathe in. Now, if you want to work harder with these, you can bring the upper body off the floor. We curl the upper body off the floor, arms in line with the hips, and you just hold your body up with the shoulders back and down, the arms long, looking at that gap between the knees towards the feet, belly button pulled down, pelvic floor lifted, keeping that back under control, tapping those toes down, 1 at a time, nice controlled from the hip. If you wanted to make this a little more difficult, we can take the hands to 1 knee, and we just swap and swap. So we're up in the pace. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. The shoulder blades are high, the belly button's pulled through, the pelvic floor's lifted. You're doing straight swap leg for leg. Shoulder blades are high, torso is stable. You're just moving the hands and the legs. We can up this a little bit if you like. We can take those legs straight. Last option, you hold the thigh, pull that leg in for a stretch. Feel a stretch, lengthen the other leg away. We breathe with a pulse. Out, out, in as we swap. Shoulder blades higher. Again, 10 each leg. From the beginning of the exercise to the end of the exercise, about 10 repetitions each leg. I've taken you through these options, so we've probably done a few more, which is fine. Work as hard as you like. Let's just do 2 more, Each side. Leg comes back to tabletop, upper body comes down, one leg down at a time, full body stretch. So stretch out nice and long, rotate those feet and hands, let the back and the ribs arch off the mat, squeeze your glutes together, opening up those hips, just stretch out, breathe deeply, in through the nose, out through the mouth, and then relax. So the 4 exercises there with the plank, or the leg pull prone. We did the 100, one of the original exercises, a great exercise, the 100, really gets into the core, great for circulation. We did the 1 leg stretch into the double leg stretch. Double leg stretch, pretty challenging, just go through the levels as much as you like, as much as you're comfortable. Remember, it's about keeping that good alignment now. Finally, we did a scissors exercise, starting nice and simple, which does get right into those low abdominals, and then we progress through. With most of those, just keep it nice, slow, controlled, aim for about 10 to 12 reps. Each side, each leg. With the 100, you just do your 10 breaths. A breath in and a breath out is 1 breath, and we want 10, which is 100 beats of the arms, at 5 beats of the arms per breath in and 5 beats of the arms per breath out. So that makes 100 beats of the arms, which is why it's called the 100. And the first exercise we did was the plank. So I normally do 3 rounds of 45 seconds to a minute. If you need to rest at any point, do, or you can just do the knee variation. Quite a lot that you can do there. With any of the exercises here where we're lifting the upper body off the floor, you don't have to lift the upper body. If you've got neck problems, keep your upper body down when you're working with those legs off in tabletop. And as you're tapping those toes down, you've got the option to take the arms out front or back. Those will make it more challenging. You haven't got to bring the upper body off the floor. With the 100, obviously I've brought the body off the floor. You can keep the upper body down, and you just do deep breaths, holding the legs in tabletop. You can extend those legs to 45 degrees, keeping the upper body down if you like. You've got to keep that core really strong, maintain that neutral spine. If the legs are a bit higher, that's okay, making it more difficult to keep the back under control, or you go a little lower. But if you've got neck problems, this is a good alternative, keeping that upper body down. You can still beat the arms if you want to. That's good for that circulation. But those are some options there if you've got any injuries to work around. Nice little ab burner that I like to do, abdominal burner, but it strengthens that core. You've got all the benefits of those Pilates exercises whilst really targeting those abdominals as well, which is why I like to slot that one in with some of my gym training as well. Hopefully you enjoyed that video, found it useful. Feel free to get in touch with me directly. If you've got any questions, or if any of those didn't work for you and you want to work around, then do get in touch. Thank you very much.